So first 2 points will be the start of the project and then acquisition by ELEKS. Spoiler in the agenda, so we acquired the product, so that's how we ended up with it. But anyway, after this second item, probably we'll have some questions. So don't move them and wait till the very end of the presentation. Then I'll try to show you a little demo of the product, maybe explain a little on gas market basics, so you understand what's the product doing. Then we may have another little Q&A session, and then the last topic would be which tools, practices we use I use as a product manager, and that how we develop the product now. So yeah, maybe so you feel a little bit engaged with me. I'll ask first question to you. Just raise your hand who likes this weather outside. No one likes. Oh, there are a few people. Okay, hi. Another one. Great. Who likes our city? Much more. That's great. Who speaks Ukrainian? Okay, great. That's just so you are used to raising up hands, and makes me feel a little bit more comfortable as well. So a little bit about myself. My name is Ihor Vinnyk. There is a very short summary of my career. The idea of this slide was to introduce myself and also to let you know that I didn't study product management specifically in the university or anywhere else. There was this certification, a little bit course that we did inside the company, since the company was and is looking into the direction of product management and owning the products. So that was it, but basically I started as my career in IT as a technical writer. I am my education is in applied linguistics, so there are maybe some points of contact with what I do right now that you may, if you really think hard, identify, but that's usually you just learn and evolve if you want to move there. So let's start our journey, and I'll just bring you back to the year 2017, I think. No, I will not. First, a little bit about our company, just to give you the context that our company is 31 years in the market, and we are doing basically software development. So we have a couple of products, but our product portfolio is not so huge. We are not by nature a product company. So if you are part of you are owning a software development company, the journey that we took to own a product could apply to you as well. So you can follow the same path and maybe better price, avoiding the mistakes that we did. So now back to 2017. So we were a usual company. We got a pre-sale request from this company, appygas Deutschland. That's a company who owns gas pipelines in Germany. And they are owning the pipes, and they are providing services of transporting gas through the pipes. So if someone buys a gas, let's say, I don't know, in France, and want to transport it to Germany, the Germany part would be covered by this company, appygas Deutschland, and you have to pay for the transportation services, right? So that's the business, and they are called TSO. We will have this abbreviation later. So that stands for Transportation System Operator. It's a general term that is used throughout the industry, and each country has its own TSO company who are responsible for transporting gas. Some companies like Germany, well, usually it's one per country. There could be 2, but Germany has like 20 or something. I don't know the exact number. So that's a little bit of context of the business, and that's the grid, basically the pipeline grids on the Europe level, how you can transport to which direction natural gas, the gas that is used basically for heating our homes, for production facilities to produce energy and stuff. So on each country border there is a point. It's called an interconnection point that is used for commercial purposes to officially move the gas from one country to another. And that's this all data, how much gas is moving from one country to another, how much capacity the pipe has, how much is booked, how much is left. This is all public data. That's a very important thing that according to EU regulation, this data, each TSO, like this one, has to publish their data, and it's all public. But the regulation doesn't say in which form you have to publish this data. So it could be, if we get technical, like CSV file, Excel, HTML, JSON, it could be anything, it could be PDF document. So they came with the idea that let's aggregate this data and let's make a tool that everyone can go there and see what's going on the high level. So we are not talking about what's going inside the country. We are looking at the global trading level in Europe. So how much gas is moving from one country to another, what are the storage levels and stuff. So that was their idea, and that's actually what appygas product is right now. So we did the product design phase, also known as discovery, for 1 month, then the 4 months of great work of our team, and we had an MVP product that was presented at eWorld. This is a famous energy conference in Germany, and it was great. So there was a couple of customers willing already try it, and so that was a success, very fast development. But at that point, it was still the ownership of GRT Gas Deutschland. We are just software vendor. So now we do a little bit of I don't know how to say, time loops, speed up. So 4 years there was new development, new features and stuff. Some customer base increased, participation in the conference and everything like that, but the evolution of the product, so there was no dynamic growth in it. So the customer base did increase, but it increased, so a couple of customers added, some ended the subscription, so it was not performing very, very well. At 2020 there was a boost, so because there was a customization project of appygas. So another company called Fluxys, which is Belgium, and they also operate in Germany. So they said, okay, they were a customer of appygas at that time, but they had internal reports like that, the PDF reports with some internal data that are not publicly available. And they wanted to integrate this data with what appygas offers and have a platform to satisfy all their needs, to have it available on the mobile devices, and have the data updated. So let's say not maybe in real time, but we do an update on hourly basis up to 1 hour, so you get the fresh data. The PDFs were sent once per day in the morning, so that was basically the state of the yesterday evening, so to say, and no updates till the next day. So that was the problem. We did like this tool called G-Compass. It's based on appygas. That's a customized solution. It looks a little bit different, but it uses a lot of the same components, the database structures, the data, the business logic behind it is a lot of things were reused. And we did it for this new customer. Again, it was through GRT Gas Deutschland, so Fluxys was paying GRT Gas was paying us for this development. So we'll just do development services as usual company. But as was saying on the previous slides, it didn't. So although this case was pretty good, but still the appygas didn't perform well in terms of growing. And in 2022, GRT Gas decides to sell appygas as a, I don't know, startup or just to sell it. There are some reasons you can scan through why they decided to do so. I think the main reason was that I forgot to mention the TSO company. They are not like business sharks, or their business is pretty stable and they don't need to worry about their customers because they have the pipe and there is always demand on pushing the gas through the pipe, so they are not worried about that, and their business is very regulated. They cannot get into high profits. So because the thing is, each year they provide their numbers to the regulation authority, their plan of how much gas will be transported for the next year, and based on that, the regulation authority, they provide how much they can charge for their services, and this charge is based to cover the costs, basically the maintenance of the pipelines, the salaries of the employees, and maybe a little bit to invest in some future, investments, development, but they cannot, it's not basically profitable organizations. They just perform their role similar to, I don't know, maybe a little like a governmental company or something. And they were not used to, this world of business where you have to fight for your customers and you have to spend efforts into marketing and sales. So it didn't go well, and they were not willing at the time for us to help. And they just decided to sell it. The last job probably was this failure of another huge customization project based on appygas, like fluxes that I mentioned, and they actually won the tender, but they couldn't decide internally who will manage the project, how to organize resources, and there was some internal conflict, and they just rejected already won opportunity and sold, and we bought it. Why we bought it at that time, also some reasons that I came up with, but I think the important one is that we had expertise in the product, because there were people, the team, who developed the product from the start, and we had this knowledge of the technical knowledge of the product, and the company was willing to invest into product management to increase. Thank you. Окей. Чути тепер добре? А тут ще є місця спереду, хто, можна сісти, я, не буду близько підходити, не хвилюйтеся. Sorry, I just switched to Ukrainian for some reason. Okay, so company was willing to invest into the product portfolio, and these two key factors basically ended up of us acquiring appygas. So we acquired with the appygas, the good thing, all its customers and revenue, and the bad thing is responsibility and all the other things that come with it. It's like some third-party tools that we have to pay for, a lot of social media that we have to support, and the website and everything like that. So there is an article on the appygas website, I think, that's about the acquisition. It happened officially October 1st, 2022. So, yeah, I just realized it, sorry. That's a total coincidence. I didn't even think about it yesterday. So, appygas, so ELEKS started offering appygas as a solution. So we offer two things: the appygas as a platform that you have to pay subscription to use, yearly subscription, and also the customization solution that to have cases similar like with Fluxes, using appygas as a door opener for regular projects, right? So we are selling, we didn't change actually the pricing since then, 10K euros per year for the classic license, that's for the whole in our company, everyone can use it. 5K, it's for exclusive user, that's per seat. You get some additional stuff like access to historical data, some calculations, unlimited numbers of calculations for routes. Also, we developed API, that's additional 5K per year, and of course we offer in this customization projects that will depend on the project, each specific one. So interesting is our main sales channel. It appears that the more luck we have, the most luck we have in the industry events like eWorld and Lit Europe. So I probably will show some slides that this happened, you see, May 23, 25th this year, and in June we have a spike of our sales, because after the event we get a lot of contacts and a lot of people bought it. So that was not what we expected, but now we know the thing and we are trying now to be present in as much events as possible. So the second thing, the personal network. So we hired a specific business development manager who is a former trader and who has a lot of contacts in Europe, and based on, like, thanks to that, we have also won a few customers. Sales development representative, I think that stands for this acronym. There are guys who just contact people in the domain and try to organize the demo for us. That's the third, and social media website, the other one. So yeah, that's what I can share. I mean, I can't share, unfortunately, the exact numbers, but the left is the subscription revenue, the right is the number of customers. That's actually the percentage increase comparing to October last year when we started owning appygas. So there was quite an increase, and as you see, this jump was May, June. That's right when the conference happened. So there are some customers, and so now you see GRT Gas Deutschland is now our customer, so we kind of switch roles. That's an interesting fact, probably not sure, I don't know the cases when it happened this way. Fluxes now continues being our customer, and we develop this customization still as a separate project for them. Some other customers, unfortunately in the industry, the big sharks, if you think about oil and gas, I know maybe you can come up with some big names. They are not willing to disclose the names, so that they are using some specific source of data. So we can mention only those who gave us permission. And these are some goals and hypotheses that we had, and this is how they ended up at the end. So maybe I'll focus on the ones that we failed. I introduced a new targeting persona. So originally we didn't have one of the personas that we were targeting, and it was a risk manager, and we think that these guys in industrial companies, the risk managers, would be interested in appygas. We tried approaching a couple of them, and none of them was interested, so that hypothesis just failed, and we removed that persona from our target audience. Online marketing campaigns also didn't work in this domain. For some reason, we did some campaigns, some ads on the websites, on social media, and that didn't boost our sales. We actually, I think we didn't won even one customers due to the online marketing campaigns. So what worked well, as I said, the industry events, which we didn't think it would work, and also the word of mouth basically, and the internal network that one of our sales guys had. So that's our product management and sales team. Yeah, so there are also the development team who does the actual job, and these are us. So that's the end of the first part on the story. That's the summary of how we ended up. Maybe some questions at this point, because I think the next one would be the guest basics. Yeah. Any questions so far on how? Yes, please.
Yeah. So, what are the sources of the information? From where you are taking to them?
The sources for, you mean the product itself?
Yeah, I mean the guest-related data.
Yeah. So as I said, it's a public data. It's available in the internet. You can go to the companies, to the TSO website, grab it from there. There is one website, kind of aggregator, which we also use as a backup source to our data. And there are a couple of other industry-related sites that are specific to liquefied natural gas and storages, so they also kind of do a little of aggregation. They are free, but they are not very, the UX is very bad there, and the performance is not very good there. So potentially, I mean, you can use them if you don't need data fast and do not need them very reliable data, because the most reliable source, as we discovered during work on the project is the TSO websites, the actual first-hand data from these companies. Okay. Anything? Yeah.
One more question. What is the size of the development team?
The size right now is we have 3 developers, backend, 1 frontend, 1 QA, and yeah, that's basically it. So it's a small team, but to say honest, we started even smaller. So now we just add in people because we show some positive dynamics and we have understanding within the company that there is a potential. So yeah, it was a hard time then when we didn't have QA, and actually I had to do the QA stuff to some extent. Anyone? Yeah. What are the personas? Will be, so short answer, the guest traders and analytics. That's the key persona that we're focusing on, but I'll show you on the another portion of the presentation, the more details on that. Yes?
As I remember, you said that your application has API. Yes.
It has API as a separate offering, yeah.
Some customers use API. Can you set some statistics about how many users use API, how many users use
So API, we just released it recently, I think end of this spring, so somewhere, I don't know, May maybe. So. And we just did it because during our demos with potential customers, there were customers who asked for the API, and we had 100% leads who said, if you do API, we will close the deal. So we did it, and we after some time, I mean within 1 month, those two customers, we closed the deal. So it's not that long that we have the API, but so it's not fair to compare the number of customers that use it at this point of time. But let's say we have up to 10 customers that use the API right now, and it's starting from the spring. 10 taking into account that this is B2B business, and if you get a company that's usually not, several people, that's like from 300 users to 100 users, so that's not a bad result, I would say. Yeah. Anyone else on the questions? So, yeah, let's move on. Real quick, I will not talk too much. So, key components on the gas market in general. We have on the left the production side. So that's this thing where you drill the gas from the earth or the seashell or whatever. But you can produce it somewhere else and deliver to Europe, in our case, by tankers. This stands for liquefied natural gas. So gas is liquefied in its liquid form under pressure and the temperature. It's delivered to the continental Europe, so to say. Then it's regasified and it goes into the pipes. It can go to the storage for storing for, usually in summer, we push gas into storages to use it in winters. And there are compression stations that push gas from one direction to another. They create pressure to move the gas. And on the right side, we have the consumers. The most the highest consumer is the industrial and power plants. Commercial and residential consumers also take place. This illustrates some coding of different countries. This is called market areas. So if you look at our app, you will not see Germany, but you will see THE, which stands for Trading Hub Europe, and some other countries just don't think that I really, really badly misspelled it. It's just different names. And short, how transportation works. So at the bottom, we have the transportation system operator, the companies like GRT Gas Deutschland or Fluxys that I mentioned already. And we have a shipper that could be a trading company or a shipping company, or it could be the company that has both inside. So they just bought some gas, they want to transport it from country A to country B. So what they have to do, they pay TSO for exiting country A, and then the gas gets, let's say, on the border, that would be somewhere between borders, this pipeline, and then they have to pay again to the TSO in country B to let the gas in the country B. So the transportation cost consists of two key elements. That's the exit rate and the entry rate into the country. So that's the transportation cost. Also, there is the actual price for the gas. So you have to buy gas, the molecules itself, to pay for it, and then you have to pay for transportation. That's two key payments that each trader has to do to get gas transported. Yeah, now I'll try to show something. I mean, like a live demo maybe, or really quick, how appygas looks like. So we have this flows map that's similar to what you saw on GCompass, where we have like interconnection points, LNG terminals, storages, and you can go deeply into the details and see for each point what are the data for each specific date, a lot of parameters there. So that illustrates the gas flows on this level between countries in this part of Europe. Another important is the route calculation, that you can calculate the price. So I select Austria to Germany, I specify some number, press calculate. We input the tariffs for the transportation into the system, and it should calculate you the cost of the gas transportation in this direction. So you have a couple of routes. You see the interconnection point, the TSO involved, the contract types, and the total in euros for megawatt hour and for total price for 1 day, so to say. So that's it. Another is the availability module, where you can track what's going on the grid, if there are any maintenance events or works being done. So you see this red and illustrating works on interconnection points, these ones on the storages. If you click, you see some details, how much capacity is not available. If you can, in regular day, push, I don't know, 100, then you see the 32% is not available because of the work and some maintenance activities. Then we have the download module, where you can download the data. And you have the dashboards with some graphs like price, gas prices, some statistics, and that's still loading. That's maintenance events. Basically, you can see what will happen tomorrow. A quick widget to illustrate the events happening tomorrow. So that's quickly what appygas is. I think we can, we have some feature description. That's not interested. Let's get back to the app itself and the gas basics. Any questions on this part? Who knows the formula of natural gas? I Googled it yesterday. I think it's CH4, but anyway, so let's then move probably to the topic about gas basics we covered, demo we did. Can we start from this slide, please? It's from the beginning. This should work. Yeah. Okay. So now I'll talk a little bit how we manage our product. So the personas, that actually came from GRT Gas Deutschland. They also did this fancy thing with try and understand who they are selling to. Traders, portfolio managers, analysts, that were the key personas, and they still remain the key personas. The problem that they had is that they were not actually targeting these personas, because being a TSO and having internal stakeholders, they did a lot of features that their internal stakeholders asked for to satisfy them, and they were not really thinking if this feature is needed by a trader or by an analyst. So we are trying now to change this direction a little bit and work with our target audience to get more leads. So that was the persona that we introduced and tried it, that failed previously, as I mentioned earlier. So that was a strategy risk manager. The idea was that in the big manufacturing companies, there could be such a guy who needs to relate risks on gas. If their equipment works on gas and they have several supplies, they would want to understand what's going on the market to make some risk strategy. But it appeared that these guys, they just rely on the shippers, and it's not their business. So if they have a contract, that's responsibility of the shipper to deliver, and they don't do this risk analysis. They just were not interested in this. Okay, so that was the personas. I know there was a question on the personas. If you need more details, we probably have the access to the presentation. So for the roadmap, we use Asana. We call it Asana in the team, but I think the right is Asana. So it has some capabilities that we like this timeline thing, and you can look in the list view. You can add some dependencies and all of that. But we basically use it because it was used previously. There was a lot of data in the tool, and there was no good way to migrate this data into another tool. So right now we kind of use this tool for high-level roadmap management, and we use Jira as an internal development tool for more like detailed split on tasks. It's not really good, but right now it's how it works. When we acquired appygas, I did some research on which tools are there that we can use for roadmap tracking, and that's my personal score. That's based on the criteria that were important for me at that time. And it was the timeline view on the roadmap. It was the ability to export, import between different, like into CSV formats. So the red one is the score, including some important factors that I used. For example, timeline was very important for me. So if there was, a good indication that the tool has a timeline view, it get more points if they had just list view, so to say. And so I would recommend, if you are looking in someone that direction, the Asana that we use, it's not bad, but Monday.com, I think it's more better, and ClickUp was the leader at my evaluation at that time, and it was probably somewhere autumn 2022. Maybe things changed since that time, but I don't imagine it changed drastically. So another thing that we use is some prioritization techniques for our feature prioritization. So we have this one, basically the efforts at the x-axis and the user value on the y-axis. And the last efforts and the high user value, that's the features that you want to pick up. That should be in this area somewhere, right? The thing that I don't like about this tool is that you have to specify the exact number for the user value, and you don't actually really know it. How do you say that this feature would bring, I don't know, 30 out of 100 value for the user? That's very, very subjective and theoretical. So there is another tool for prioritization that is more useful and kind of accounts for this deviation. So that's the RISE, stands for Reach, Impact, Confidence, where you evaluate each features, how much customers it will reach. So that's, for our case, we know to some extent for sure. We may not know how much it will impact the customer, but we can always use just one here, and it will not make much difference. But what we have here is the confidence, and if we have this confidence, we can set it from 1% to 100, and then that will somehow correct our calculations, and we will have a more clear picture on what feature to use. So we did both. I find this one myself more useful, since it accounts for this confidence element that you may not always know. Another thing is the direct user feedback. So what we did, during each demo with potential customer or a customer existing, we collect the feedback. We tell them a couple of features that we will be working on during the next half of the year, and we try to get the feedback if they will be willing to try these features, maybe do some beta testing, maybe do some prototype testing. And we also ask what they are missing, and we try to score. So you see this new LNG terminals in Germany, that's now already done. This, the highest one that got 6 score, is in progress. Intraday pricing API is done. Customizable widget is also now in progress. So we are trying to use this one as a key compass in our prioritization, and the other techniques also like supplementary ones. Okay, so we also did at the beginning some research on how much our market is, right? What companies are there, right? So these traders and shippers, we count all of them in Europe. There was about 40% of them from the total count. TSOs, this is system storage operators. This is the agencies that regulate this market, some consulting companies, universities. So that's and if these calculations are correct, I did them a while ago, like maybe 9 months ago. So now I probably would do a little bit different, but based on that data, we are covering right now about 6% of potential customers, and that places us at this category, which means that we are early market still. We don't have the minimum feature set to move to this zone. We have the early majority that we need to have like about 34% of the potential customers. So basically, it's still at the stage of the startup, even though it's how much now, 5 or 6 years old. But we are owning it just a year, so it still looks, based on the number of customers, that we are at the startup phase. So important thing is to collect the feedback. When we have a demo, we try to collect why the customers didn't want to proceed. It's not always easy to do that. So some companies, they just don't tell why. And that's why we have this unknown bar that they just didn't reply why they decided not to buy. And the pending one is also a huge one. That's if they don't reply like for a month, the pending moves to unknown. And here we have split of companies by different types. So we also collect some Google Analytics. This is like 21, 22 year. It shows dependency on geopolitical factors, some domain events and all of that. So we have started war here. So we see that the usage peaked after that event, and you can do some interesting conclusions based on the Google Analytics. So now maybe I think that's the final part, or the one before final. So responsibilities that how I envisioned that when I started this role. I thought that we would split it like something between market research, roadmap strategy, customer communication, sales, and there will be some other category that can account for at this stage, and it appeared to be something like this. So the things that I thought I would be doing, that it's like these small things, and the other stuff, that's something that I didn't think about. It's a subjective diagram. That's not real numbers behind it. It's just based on feelings, right? So don't ask for the source of that. Hi. The other stuff that includes this big blue box is the QA activities, for example, the support tickets, the tariffs management. I'll talk about a little bit more about that. Some tech debt we had, and other stuff. So the interesting topic is L1, L2 support. So I have to answer the support ticket that we have in our tool, this specific feedback button where user can ask a question or provide any feedback. So the feedback could be like this one. You see, I have a question, please call me. I mean, on the commercial flow graphs, that's no specific at all. I should call the person and understand what's going on. And that's really, calling to whom you are calling. You don't know. They don't sometimes write who are they. And yeah, this guy wrote something in German. I understand a little bit the German, but the things happen. Some other feedback, and that's the example of the response to this guy who wrote in German. So he was asking specifically on some calculations, so I had to provide him examples. So it takes time. So it takes from 1 hour to maybe several months if the question is why you have this data, and we go to the source provider and see the data is bad there, so we do the whole investigation. So it really depends on what the question is, and it takes a lot of time. It takes much more time than we originally thought, and we didn't account for that. Another topic is the tariff management. So these TSO companies, they publish updates to their tariffs, and usually it's once per year or twice per year, but they also can do some adjustments during the year, and the quantity of those adjustments is unlimited. Basically, if there is something happening on the market, gas prices goes up, they also could increase their prices. So how it works, we have a tool that tracks almost all the websites that publish tariffs, and we till now couldn't automate this process because they are publishing it in very different formats, and it's also sometimes a big PDF document, and in one paragraph you have the price, and in a few pages you have another paragraph that says, you know, there is exception to that price in this page 1, so here is an exception, and especially for German companies they do like that. So it's probably almost impossible to make this stuff. So we have notification that something has changed on the site, and then we go to the site. I go to the site and look at the tariffs. I try to understand their spreadsheet or their PDF documents or whatever that is. Then I use this pretty tool. This is internal tool that we use to input the tariffs. The purpose of the tool is to input all the tariffs and convert them to the single units of measurement. Then from this tool it generates the CSV, and it goes to the admin module, and then it goes to the user. So that's a long journey, and each step could have potential bugs. To finally have to test that it matches with what was originally published there, right? So the idea of the tool was to simplify the process, but it was developed internally by GRT Gas Deutschland. We were not even involved in this tool development. We just inherited it as a bad uncle or something, I don't know. And yeah, we have to use it, and it has bugs, and we have to retest it. So sometimes it would be simpler just to do calculations in the Excel, but now we are working to actually make it work. It was as it was originally intended. So that's another hurdle that we didn't account for. We were told that there is this process, but we were not aware that it's so complex, and it's so that the tool used involved the bugs. Another challenge is tracking the market itself. So you see the example of the publication on Trading Hub Europe. That's the regulator authority in Germany. So they have this website, and they added this little thing at the bottom, which means that we have to redo all the tariffs for all the German transmission system operators. There was some charge that was previously something, and now it's 0. So the price decreased. They published this sentence here. We have to catch it. We have to go and update all the tariffs. So another thing was some post on one of the TSO website that the Gascade, it's another TSO in Germany, they actually acquired Opel, that was the other TSO in Germany. So that affects us, that we have in our tool all the TSO listed, we have all the tariffs, we have all the points that they operate. So that's the structural change that we're still dealing with. We didn't react to that, even though it was end of August, but we're still dealing with consequences. Another example, we were expecting a new LNG terminal opened in France in mid-September. It was as it was planned, but it appeared there was a Greenpeace action, and they, were on these boats. They just stopped the timely arrival of the LNG terminal, and it's all postponed. It's probably not just because of this, but we have to monitor news like that and to understand what's going on, and when something new will open, when new point or new LNG terminal or new storage will be live, and we have to react to that. So it's tracking a lot of resources in time, in a single time, in each day basically. Things like this, Trading Hub Europe, it's a very important one. So we have the tool that monitors changes there, somehow helps us a little bit, but there are also a lot of manual work done. Language barrier. So this is example of the document. So most of the TSO, they provide information in English, but they have this note, especially German ones, that if there is a discrepancy, use the German version. So it basically, they say we are not quite sure what our English translation is, so our German version is the nice one. So you can read if you have time in the evening the English one, but go back and check this German one. This is the Spanish one. They just don't have English translation a lot at all. So you have to use Google Translate. Spanish is something that I don't know at all, besides Casa de Papel, right? That was a series, I think, but it doesn't count probably. Some other stuff that we were facing, the marketing support. So our marketing department go and say, hey, we want to track more analytics. We want to simplify sign-up page to improve our, conversions. So that's something that was not part of a roadmap, but we had to do because, well, some of these were valid points. Technical debt. Yeah, there's always technical debt. I think, honestly, I'm not sure if when we did the decision to acquire appygas, if we consulted the technical team, because I joined the team when the acquisition was in the progress or in the latest phase. So you have to talk to your tech team to understand what you are buying. And operational support, that's dealing with a lot of licenses, a lot of tools, updated terms of service, learning new tools that support the product. So there are a bunch of other stuff, the tools that track the websites, the tools that send you notifications from the customers who providing some feedback and all of that. So they all need to be set up. There is some settings, there is some license renewals, they all under subscription, and there is no one in the team who has to do that. So who does that? The product manager, and sometimes the project manager also helps. But yeah, if there is something that has to be done and it's not no one's responsibility, usually it goes to me or to the project manager. So I think this is the lessons learned part. As you may conclude, this role, the product manager, is very diverse. You have to be ready to do anything. It's not just fancy stuff with marketing and roadmaps. It's testing, it's documentation, it's legal aspects. We had to work, I myself, and also with our legal department, because we're a big company, ELEKS, right? But still, we have to create what our now terms would be, to review all of these legal documents with long words and stuff. So it's much more than just the primary responsibilities you may think of. New domain, new product. Even though we had a transition from GRT Gas Deutschland, I think the actual understanding what's going on came later when we were on our own, and we faced with the first tariff updates in June this year. That was a real, life teaches you like any other knowledge sharing or or knowledge transfer session. So they explain it really nice and show the usual cases, and we faced with a lot of exceptions that we had to deal with. Maybe obvious, but if someone is selling a product, you have not to expect a quick return of investment. There is something wrong with it, right? So you have to be ready to invest, and you have to be ready to deal with the hidden problems that they are not like telling you or telling you not the whole truth. So something related to product management that I found useful, that you have to use as much more numbers as possible in terms of making your decisions, if you have these numbers, of course. So if you're doing an interview, if you are talking to your customer, try to collect the feedback, try to somehow quantify this feedback to understand, as I do, for example, for the feature priorities. That's one example, but you can have multiple more. The other challenge is you have to talk to different level, to the people with different mindsets. So I talk to development team, and they may ask me which should be the behavior of a specific button on this screen, right? And I also talk to our chief business officer, and he wants like 5-year perspective and prognosis of our revenue and our target audience and stuff. So, and you have sometimes this meeting one after another, so you have to switch something here in your brain to talk the language, not even switching from Ukrainian, let's say if you talk Ukrainian with the development team, but also to switch on the level that you talk, like abstraction level, so to say. Yeah, that's not very interesting. Yeah, so you have basically the message I want to say, that collect any data that you have, try to quantify them. But the collection part is very important, since if you don't collect them, you may delay the quantification and data processing part for later if you don't have time. Even on the piece of paper, you have to write something that this guy said this, and then you'll be able, if you have opportunity to somehow analyze this and create a picture that will tell you what to do next. Update, right? So yeah, so this is about this tool that I mentioned earlier that was supposed to help us with the tariff management, but I would warn you, if there is an internal custom tool developed internally, not customer facing, probably there are bugs, probably there is no documentation, probably you'll have problems with that tool. So if there is such a case, just be very cautious about that. If there is a manual process that supports your product, also it will eat your time. Try to automate it. If not possible, just account for people who will do that. If product manager does QA, there is no time for anything else, usually. That's when you get the estimates from your team. In our world, there could be unpredicted stuff, like you get a support ticket, you get a bug, you get a Greenpeace action, or you get a new something that someone acquired something, and you have to reflect that in your product. So you cannot go to your original plan. I now learned that I cannot commit to any deadlines to my customers. If they really ask for that, I'll just take the most optimistic prognosis and multiply it by 2, and probably we will fit into this, but not sure yet. So that was a lot of negative stuff, maybe a little bit what I enjoy. So I have this freedom on setting the course of my product. It's a relative freedom, because still we are working within the framework of ELEKS as a company. So there are some limitations, but mostly if you have if you can have arguments why you want to move in this or that direction, is heard, and you have this freedom. you have direct contact with the users. You can get this feedback, and that's not like working as a third party or proxy product owner. So that's really gives you direct access, and you can you have all the data. You can have the possibility to collect all the data directly, right? Long-term vision, building strategy. That's all here. Analyzing market trends. Even though it's challenging, but it's fun. So trying and testing the theories, like with our industrial persona. Even sometimes the theories are not correct and hypothesis fails, but still this is a learning process. So sorry for this photo here. That's why we have the nice kitchen here. And that was, I think, the last slide. Let me check what we are. Can someone help me? Do we have some time? Okay, great. So yeah. Any questions in the audience at this point? Yes.
Yeah, do you have any competitors in the market?
Yes, we do have, to some extent. As I mentioned, there are free aggregators of the data that we provide as well. They are not covering all the data that we provide. It's the first disadvantage that they have, and the second is that performance is bad on these providers, and they also have a bad quality. It's, for example, well, I can name you the AntSoc. AntSoc, that's a European aggregator for the gas. And there is, if we talk to the TSO companies, it's a general knowledge that these data have bad quality. So they have this reputation that they, even though they are now fixing the quality data, it's still there for quite a while. And even though if they fix it now, to get the reputation back to normal, it takes some time. So yeah, these are, and also usually the customers mention some big players like Reuters, Bloomberg's. They also collect this kind of data. For now, we don't consider them like direct competitors because their offering is much more expensive, and they are playing at a different league, I would say. But in the same scale, not so much competitors that we are aware of. Yes, please, next question.
Do you use some machine learning tools like for predict some statistics or classify news? We have now there was some of the hypotheses that I skipped the slide because I thought we are not be in time, but we have a hypothesis to validate that if we do some prediction modeling inside the tool, that it will boost our sales. So we are now doing the POC of prediction gas demand for UK market. We are doing it on the 1 or 2 week scale, so it's not like the whole year, but a small period ahead. And that should be completed sometime soon, and we will try to add it into the appygas somehow probably, and see how many people are interested in that, if we get any interest to have the same thing for other markets. So we are trying to boost it this way. That's the only case where we trying to use some machine learning for the prediction of gas demand at this point of time. Okay, yeah, next question.
Since you are the service provider for this product, for providing it, how do you explain that some things that are related to development, like QA, like documentation and internal tools, were surprisingly hard for you when you started developing it as a whole?
Yeah, great question. So, yes, we were a software development vendor, and we did what we were asked to do, right?
So we're doing the code base of the main product. The tool that I mentioned, the internal one that have problems right now, it was coded by some student that they hired internally, and he knew, he was just graduated, and he did this tool on the language that he knew, and this was the only one. And we were not, involved much into that. So the thing was that the tool has to produce the CSV file that our admin module can consume. What was inside the tool, the architecture, how it was written, we didn't know about that until we acquired the product and until we got the code base. And then our developers looked at it, and we ordered a lot of herbal teas to calm our nerves, and yeah, that's how it was. So that was, they were managing the IP, and and that's the case with this tool. There was some other places as well, like a technical debt, old.NET version, for example. We are now using the version that will be not supported anymore by the end of this year. So we are now, moving to the new .NET version because there is no time to wait. So, but at that time they had this time, and they thought it was not important because they were focusing on other things. So we are now dealing with this debt basically. So they were postponing things as if it was not critical, right? If it's not was like deadly critical. So if you can postpone this, they did postpone that. If it was not direct influence on the customer, if it was some technical stuff that was for internal things, that was all sacrificed.
So the question is, do you have some technical evaluation before buying? Or some external evaluation?
I know there was an external evaluation. I'm not sure when exactly it was the year, but it was long before they were willing to sell it. If we did internal technical evaluation, honestly, I'm not sure. I think we did not. Maybe because when I joined, the decision was already made. I honestly don't know if there was some evaluation. Probably there could have been some talk with one of the guys on the team who is from the beginning of the project. Maybe he was consulted, but again, he knows only the stuff that he does, and the other stuff that was done on site of the other company of GRT, he was not aware. So, yeah. But it doesn't matter if we did it or not. I mean, you have to do it if you will be in the same situation. And it would be very, very recommended to look at the whole picture, right? Not only the main product, but also all the supporting tools and the whole kitchen that you have to use to prepare the meal, Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Yes, please.
Yeah, you mentioned that there are a lot of manual work which should need to be done. And do you have any plans to automate that somehow? Because as I understand, you need manually to gather info from some resources and feed into your application.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any ways to automate these things?
Well, there are ideas. I wouldn't call them plans. With the current situation, it's almost impossible, I would say, because of diversity of how the information is provided. So you will have to build a totally separate product that could read documents, understand, catch up where the price is inside the document, and understand the relations. And that's the high level, not the high level. It's a profound AI task that I'm not sure even technology exists to doing that. But the idea is that maybe we can use a simple approach in terms of technology, but more complex in terms of talking to the people, to the companies who provide the tariffs, and try to offer them the solution that they just input it in our system directly, or in some other portal, but in a common format that we can use it, that we can maybe support it, and we can easily integrate to this place and export it into our system. So that's more for the business negotiations, communication stuff, and convincing them to try to switch from the existing approach to the new one. We have to offer them some benefits because that will definitely benefit us, but why they should do it, we'll have to think on the offering. But that's some idea that we have. We didn't think it much through, but that's what we have for now. Thank you. There was the question on the back.
Yes, Ihor, I assume Ukraine is already kind of part of European whatever gas market. So is Ukrainian area part of this tool? And
sure.
Is there any client for that tool in Ukraine, like appygas?
Ukraine is part of the tool. Has it historically happened? Ukraine was the main transportation corridor of the gas from Russia back till the pre-war times, right? And Ukraine was added, I think, still by GRT Gas Deutschland. I'm not sure which the year is, but maybe 2020 it was added. And it still remains there. We have some interest from within Ukrainian market, but we don't have the active customers at the moment. So we saw some registrations because we offer a free trial for 2 weeks. There was some registration. I think from Naftogaz someone registered, but there was no further development of that. So they didn't contact us for the demo. I think we offered them, they didn't respond, so it's a bit on hold now, I would say. Okay. More questions? Okay, I don't think we have any more questions. If we have no more questions, I cannot give any more answers. So I would say we can end up this meetup. If you have any specific ones, you can contact me after we officially close this. I'll be happy to get in touch with you. Okay, thank you.